Hi everybody. I want to go over your first assignment for EDU 387, which is analyzing an article. What I'd like you to do is choose a topic about exceptional populations. Now that can be, special education, disabilities, gifted and talented, culturally and or linguistically diverse, or at risk. We read about poverty this week, so it could be something that looks at impoverished children, but it needs to be about an exceptional population. Just look for one article that addresses this and then do an analysis. Now, so let's think of what analysis is. Analysis is a careful study of something to learn about its parts, what they do, and how they're related to one another. And it needs to be in your own words. It needs to be specific, not general, okay? So those are sort of just some background definitions of what analysis is. So it's not, taking a little bit of here and a little bit of there and putting it together. It's not cutting and pasting. It's reading something thoroughly and deeply and critically and then coming up with an analysis of that article. So what do I want you to do with this analysis? I would like you to include the purpose of the article. Why was it written? Who is the intended audience? What did you discover or learn from the article? How could the article help a general education teacher? Were there any gaps you noticed? Did they something they didn't mention? What's your opinion of the reliability and validity of the article? And if appropriate, include some background information on the author's authority and expertise. So you might say, Professor Brown from Harvard University is a known expert in the field of gifted and talented children. She has written several books on the subject and is a visiting professor also at Brown University. Okay, so I made that up. But you can add that if it's appropriate. All right. You're going to use APA style, and in APA it always asks for a cover page and an abstract, but you don't need those for this assignment. Okay, you don't need those. You do need a reference page. If you are unfamiliar with APA, please hit this link and go to the Purdue Owls. This is the Purdue Owls online writing lab, and over here is the information you need about how to cite with APA. And I've also going to give you a little bit of a resource as well. Okay, let's go back to the assignment. Please don't go Google searching, all right? And please don't use help sites. I want you to find scholarly articles, all right? And you can do that by clicking on this particular link. This will take you to a page that's tailored to education, all right? There it is, education. And over here, you can click Find Books, Find Articles, how to evaluate information, how to cite your sources. And there's some other information here as well. And there's some nice links to constituencies that are important to you. There's also links for writing tutoring. I highly recommend you take advantage of writing labs. Whether you feel you're a great writer or not so great writer, it's always great to have another set of eyes on a paper before you pass it in. What you want to do is go over here and click on Find Articles, because that's what I'm asking you to find. And it gives you the appropriate databases to look for education articles. Okay, and there's quite a few of them here. The ones that I would suggest would be Academic Search Complete, Education Full Text, ERIC Education Progress. Those are the three best. I'm going to go to Education Full Text because that's going to give me full text. Okay, so it asks you to search, and you can do a simple search. And I'm going to search for gifted and talented, and I'm going to look specifically for high school, and then I'm going to look for twice, look for special needs as well, because I think I want to look for twice exceptional. Let's see if I get anything. All right, I didn't get much, so I'm going to take out this one and just try these two, see what I get. All right, so now I have 293. I want to limit it to full text because otherwise I might have to send for the article, and I don't want to do that. I want to be able to get it right now and be able to print it out. So I have 129. And I'm going to look through these, and I'm going to look at the dates first of all, because I want something that's fairly recent. I don't want to wait until, I don't want something that's back from the 90s. And I'm going to read the titles of these quickly to see if any of them really jump out. Okay, this one looks like it might be kind of interesting. It's being gifted a social handicap. And I see it's in the Journal for the Education of the Gifted, which is a peer-reviewed scholarly article. And I see I can get the full text. And it's in 2014, so it's relatively up to date. So I'm going to click on PDF full text. And there it is, 14 pages, and I can print it out. I can read it online. I can save it. And here's my article. Okay, so that's how you search for articles. I'm going to leave that as it is. If you don't have your library card yet, you can activate it. It's your student ID card. If you don't have your student ID card, you should get that because you're going to need to use the library when you're in college. So this is important. So get it activated. Here's the link that'll show you how to do that. Now, some people have used Google Scholar, and that's okay, but you don't get the breadth of articles that you get when you use an academic library. If for some reason you see an article you want that you can't get full text right away, you can get it through interlibrary loan. And if you click on here, it'll take you to how to do that. You have to create an Iliad page, but that will walk you through it. I mean, if you're going to be doing lots of research, this is a good thing to have. But for this particular assignment, I don't think you really need to do that. If you're a distant ed person, you can still use the library, UMA library page here, but you can also use University College's page for requesting articles. So I'll just click on that so you can see what that looks like. And these are for those that are not full text. And again, I'm not recommending that you do that. I don't think it's necessary at this point. And then, again, I'm just reminding you, you want to use research-based articles for this assignment, okay? All right. I've given you some my words of wisdom for writing an analysis. And I taught writing for many years. And so these are what I consider important things to consider when you're writing a paper. Read with a pen in hand, okay? Take notes as you read, write in the margins, write on sticky notes, write on another piece of paper, but take notes while you read. If you want to read online, then use an online annotator. There are plenty of them out there. And then pre-write. So begin taking notes for your analysis. You know, who wrote the article and what are the qualifications? You know, these are the questions you ask yourself. These are the things that I want you to have in your paper. And so see if you can answer those questions. That will be your pre-writing and getting it down on paper. And then write a draft of the critique. Okay. In the first paragraph, provide the title, the subject of the article, and the author. Provide some background information and state your position on the article. Okay, that would be a good solid first paragraph. Next, summarize the article briefly in order to give your reader some context. Don't write about every single little thing in there, just enough so that we understand what this was all about. And then present your position as stated in your introductory paragraph using the author's points to contextualize yours. This is the analysis. This is the meat of your paper where you're going to be looking at all those points that I had listed. And then state your conclusion. Did the article reinforce what you already knew? Did your position change? And then revise your draft. Review it and revise it. I'd give it some time after your first draft and then go back to it. Review it, revise it. Make sure you have a clear thesis. Make sure your assertions are supported by evidence. Make sure your quotations are properly cited. Make sure that you are citing anything you paraphrased. You may have a new perspective when you revise it, when you review it. So make sure that you give some time there. Review your second draft and edit it. Look for all the spelling and sentence structure and verbs, agreement, all that kind of stuff, and really pick at it. Anne Lamott wrote a book called Bird by Bird about writing, and she calls the first draft the down draft. You just get it down on paper. The second draft is the up draft, where you fix it up. And the third draft is the dental draft, where you take one of those little dental picks and you go through it and pick at it until you get every single thing correct. You're going to use APA format, as I noted there. And here's another link to the Purdue OWLS APA page. This is a very useful citation machine. If you plug the information in here, it'll give you the citation for you, all incorrect, all the punctuation in the right place, and so forth and so on. And then I've given you some examples of how to quote and attribute. Attribute is better than just plain quoting because it contextualizes it. So I use myself as an example, and these are all made up. So if I wanted to write something about what I wrote, I might say, Dean notes in her article about autism that. Always put the year of publication after the author's name in parentheses. Always, 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 everywhere in your paper. This is one way to attribute. You could also attribute with a quotation. So Dean notes in her article about autism that, quote, most highly functioning, blah, 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 okay, and then, end quote, then page number in parentheses, punctuation after the parentheses, okay? So pay attention to the punctuation. This is important in APA. Note the ending punctuation, the page number goes in quotation marks, and the ending period goes after the citation. You must cite all information you take from another text, even if you paraphrase it. So here's an example of paraphrasing. Mainstreaming is clearly the preferred situation for most highly functioning children with autism. It has to be cited with the full citation, name, year of publication, and page number on which you found it. There's no quotation marks because it's not a direct quote, but it's what was in this article, and I am just paraphrasing. It's not my idea, so I've got to quote it. And then the reference citation for a journal article would look like this. Again, this is a fictional citation. So it would be the author, the year of publication, the title of the article, the title of the periodical that is italicized, comma, volume number, and the issue number in parentheses. Notice there's no space between the volume number and issue number, comma, and then the pages, period. All right? Again, punctuation and spacing is important. So here's just a little tutorial on APA, but use the OWLS page to help you if you have questions about that. If you haven't written an article analysis in a while or haven't written for a while, I highly recommend that you use the Writing Center, either the one here at UMA, the one in Bangor, or the online Writing Center that the University Center provides. And those, again, those links are available to you. I think that's it. If you have any questions about this, let me know. And down here below is where you submit the article. Anytime you see this little icon, that's where you submit. The rubric is here as well. You should read the rubric. I'm going to open that up so you can see it. This is the rubric on which you'll be scored. The task description is up here. These are the things I want to see. Content of the review. You have 4 different categories here. Please read the descriptors. The significance, quality of analysis, and significance to exceptionalities. Applicability to general education teachers. Remember, this is the course about teaching the exceptional child in the regular classroom. So you want the article to provide some assistance for a general education teacher. Your conventions, which is your grammar, and then your citations, APA. And you can see they're weighted. It's 100 points, 100%. And you lose points as you go down from exemplary to unsatisfactory. So that's the rubric, and you should look at that and weigh your paper against that rubric before you submit it. I also highly recommend that you maybe get a peer review. It's from someone in the class. You could certainly email somebody and ask them if they would look at your paper. If we were together in a face-to-face classroom, I would set some time aside to share papers. So please feel free to do that. If there's someone in the course that you know or someone you don't know that you would like to work with, please do that. And I may, for our research paper later on, actually set up some peer review groups for you to work together. It's a little early in the semester to enforce that now because you're still just kind of getting to know one another. But nonetheless, that's an overview of this assignment. If you have any questions, please let me know.